Last week, Dylan Battistini made his Firestone Indy Lights debut in big style, winning his first ever race on an oval. Today in St. Petersburg, road course aces Rafael Matos and Richard Antonucci will be gunning for their first wins of 2008. It's a doubleheader weekend. The Grand Prix of St. Petersburg is next. 0.5 of a second.
Three wide into one.
Wheel to wheel all the way through the corner.
Drag race to the finish. It is dead even.
Look at this. Geographically, we're only a few hundred miles from where we were last week at Homestead Miami Speedway. Today in the streets of St. Petersburg. Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Jenkins, along with Robbie Buell from the mile-and-a-half super speedway to the streets of St. Petersburg. Robbie, what are the challenges the drivers face today?
Well, those challenges couldn't be more extremes, from going from the high banks to the streets. From a driver's perspective, when you're running at a place like Homestead, you run 190 miles an hour, and it's a mental game, and it's finesse. Here on the streets, you're shifting 30 times a lap, you're accelerating, you're slowing, you got fast corners, you got slow corners, and it's a different kind of feedback that these drivers need to give their engineers to make a better, faster race car. So let's see who'll come out on top.
Rafael Matos will be the pole sitter for today's first race. He's standing by with Mike King.
Rafa Matos is 2 for 2 in poles this year in the Firestone Indy Light Series. You are 2-0 at this racetrack. You won here twice in 2006. How confident are you today?
I'm very confident. I think we have a very strong car. We're the quickest car in qualifying, and you know, we just need to concentrate. It's a long race. We have to put some good laps in the beginning of the race, trying to break the draft, and we'll see what happens.
Rafa, gusty winds out of the south. Is it going to affect things at all?
I think a little bit, yeah. I think we'll be much slower on the front straightaway and much quicker on the back straightaway.
Rafa Matos ready to get into the car. He's going to lead the field at the green flag here at St. Petersburg.
Thank you, Mike. Look forward to your reports from pit lane. At the top of your screen, we'll roll the starting lineup for you. And meanwhile, Robbie Buell can tell us what he thinks the keys to the race are going to be.
Well, the first key to this race is first lap survival. What I mean by that is everybody's a little anxious. You want to take advantage of the start of this race to capitalize on improving your position, but you got to be a little bit patient. The next one is power down. What I mean by power down is as you're coming off these slow corners and you want to get to full throttle, as the car creates grip, the sooner you can get to full throttle, the easier it is to pass somebody at the end of the straightaway. From there, restarts. Restarts are an opportunity where it bunches everybody up, where you're close, you can strike, and give yourself a little bit improvement on the track.
40 laps of racing coming up here this afternoon in the first of two Indy Firestone Lights, Indy Lights action from the streets of St. Petersburg. Field looks well formed as they head down the straightaway and get the green flag. Here we go. Here they are into turn number one. A big shuffle. They go 4 and 5 wide. Matos is going to grab the lead as they come out of the corner. That's Antonucci right behind him. And looks like everybody is, oh, I spoke too soon. Bobby Wilson in car number 17 is sideways.
Wow, you know, I was just about to say, everybody amazingly got through lap one. You know, we said survival's the key to this, and then we saw his car sideways. It didn't look like Bobby was damaged. Let's see.
That is the 27 car of Rafa Matos. Right behind him is Richard Antonucci in car number 7. That Alex Lloyd drove last year to the Firestone Indy Lights Championship. Right behind him is Anna Beatrice, looking good here in the early going. She's in the green and white car number 20, and right behind her is J.R. Hildebrand.
Everybody really is showing some pretty good patience here. You know, get in your rhythm, get your tire temperature up, see what your competition has, and get your strengths and weaknesses. And this front group that we're looking right now, they've done it. They've survived that first lap. Now it's time to get busy and size up your competition.
Behind Hildebrand is the yellow and white car that is being driven by Jeff Simmons, and they're going to pull a full course caution here because of Bobby Wilson. He went off course again, so.
Yeah, that's turn 5. So it was in turn 2 where we saw him spin at the beginning of this race. And, you know, he actually had a very good qualifying effort, qualifying 4th. They missed the morning practice with a motor issue, so some frustration from the driver. Take a look
at what happened here. Bobby was trying to catch up with the field, and he spins again.
Yeah, and really what brings that on is we just got the green flag. He hasn't even completed one lap yet. So the tires aren't up to temperature. They're not up to pressure, and he was just pushing to get caught up. You know, part of when you're in that cockpit, in that helmet, and here you are wanting to impress the IndyCar teams, you're pushing, and he's already behind. He's at the back of the pack, and he's saying some choice words to himself right now, for sure.
Bobby Wilson finished 17th at the opener at Homestead Miami Speedway. This was his 30th consecutive start. That tops the list of drivers making consecutive starts in the Firestone Indy Light Series. A full course caution out on the streets of St. Petersburg. We'll be back with more in a moment. The Firestone Indy Lights race. Welcome back to St. Petersburg and the Firestone Indy Lights. First of 2 races, and we are about to go back green from our first caution, which was brought out by Bobby Wilson, actually spinning twice in the opening lap. Green is back out, and here we go. That's Motto still leading, Antonucci second, but look at Anna Beatrice. Look to the inside of Antonucci, trying to get second position. Hildebrand follows, followed by Jeff Simmons, then Andrew Prendeville, James Davison, Ari Lyondike Jr., Cindy Alleman on board with Antonucci.
And here we are heading right into turn 4. This is a good passing zone right as they head into turn 4. This is all second gear. Watch them work the wheel through. A little bit of bumpiness right there. Now it gets real dark, little braking. Again, we're still in second gear. We're looking up in front there. That's the leader of the race, Rafa. Up through the gearbox. You got a fast left-hand kink here. And now we come into probably the second best passing zone, turn 10. Right here, hard on the brakes, down to second gear. Watch how close he gets to this wall coming out. Bam, right next to the Acura signs. The 4th gear, flat out, quick S's here, 11 and 12. Look at him work the wheel, downshift a couple times, turn 2. Now here's where it's important to put the power down. The sooner he can get to full throttle, obviously, the quicker he's gonna close up on the car in front of him. Power down, big deal. Looking backwards, we're looking back at Anna Beatrice driving for Sam Schmidt, and her first road course, by the way. It's a street course, first time with walls all around you. It's a different dynamic from just running a, you know, when we were at Watkins Glen or Mid-Ohio. Very different here on the streets.
She was impressive at Homestead Miami, the high-speed super speedway. She finished in 7th position, and now we have another car. That's Mitch Cunningham, who is making his series debut. He is the young brother of Wade Cunningham, and he has gone so far off course that he's into the tire barrier.
Yeah, that's turn 14. There's the big U we saw right there heading back onto the front straightaway, and it looks like he's got a little bit of damage, and we are full course yellow. And well, we saw where he was stuck in that tire wall, and anytime there's a car that's in view or other cars can get to, you're always going to go to full course yellow till they can get him cleaned up.
Second caution comes out on lap number 5 of the race. So we've already been interrupted twice here in the first 5 laps. Last year, this race was interrupted by 3 cautions for a total of 14 laps. Well, 21-year-old Cindy Alleman grew up snowboarding in the mountains of Switzerland, but she left that behind to pursue a career in the IndyCar Series. Now a resident of Florida, Cindy is enjoying the adjustment to life in the U.S. both on and off the track.
Nervous when I came here, I have to say it. Even if sometimes it's difficult to be far from my family, I really enjoy and I have a lot of fun to be here. I always say the dream go on because when I arrived here, I come from snow and it was big sun, it was more than 80 degrees. I have the beach 10 minutes from where I live. It's always sunshine and I really enjoy it. Okay, let's go!
Take it over your shoulder.
Yeah, but I will eat you.
Nah, don't worry about me. And when you fling it, let your finger out. There you go, look, way out there.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Break it one time. IndyCar racer, professional fisherman.
I had a good teacher. My dad was a driver when he was young. And then when my brother and me was born, he stopped because we wanted to drive. And my dad was the mechanic of my brother. And as we were working together, my mother was my mechanic. So it was very good time, and we won some races together. So it's just perfect. I think this year for me the biggest challenge will be to get the respect of my concurrents, because in Europe everybody know me and here I am new, nobody know me. So for sure first it will be to show that I am fast even if I am a girl, and when I am in the car they have to forget that I am a girl and that I am just a driver. But I realize that I am very lucky, and I think for my age it's an incredible experience to live what I'm living now. So that's what I say, I take all what I can, really, and I enjoy life.
On pit lane with John Lewis from American Spirit Racing. John, Cindy started 11th, she is now 9th, but you're having problems talking to her. What kind of hindrance is that right now?
Yeah, we're having a little bit of a communication problem, but she's just holding her own right now, trying to let the race come to her. A lot to go, a lot of racing to do, so she's holding her own.
She's new to this series, she's new to this team, seems to be adapting very well, though.
She's doing a great job. I couldn't be happier to have a driver like her behind the wheel of my car.
It's John Lewis, American Spirit Racing. Bob?
We are going green once again in the streets of St. Petersburg. And look again at Anna Beatrice going to the inside of Antonucci as they race down into turn number 1. Is she going to get second position? Yes, she does.
Excellent pass. She got up alongside him right before they got the braking zone. Very clean, and she's in second place, chasing down Rafa.
Wow. Anna Beatrice goes to second position. Now J.R. Hildebrand is right on the rear wing of Antonucci looking for third position. That's Jeff Simmons in the yellow and white car making his return to the Firestone Indy Light Series. He, of course, ran a lot of the season last year in the IndyCar Series for Rahal Letterman Racing, but is back in the Firestone Indy Light Series.
And Jeff has done a really good job. It took him about all of 10 laps to get back in this car and up to speed. Really impressive. Driving for Tom Wood and Mark Moore, that's a very well-prepared car. They've been around this series for some time in Firestone Indy Lights, so they know how to put a good car out there. He obviously knows how to drive one of these. He's won a total of, I think, 7 races in his career here, so he knows how to get it done.
And right behind him is Andrew Prendeville, driving car number 5. And behind him is Ari Lyondike Jr.
I'm amazed. As we just had that shot looking down the front straightaway, everybody was just in line. Nobody was teasing anybody and sneaking out and trying to fill the mirrors and have them miss their braking point or anything like that. It was amazing.
There's Prendeville, car number 5, as he pursues the yellow and white car driven by Jeff Simmons.
Prendeville drives for Rahal Letterman Anderson Racing. They were new on the scene here last year in the Firestone Indy Light Series. Really polished team, very good teammates, as you say, with JR. I had looked for these guys to win this year. Looking down, there's a little teasing. That's what I was talking about. That was James Davison just looking down the inside of Prendeville, trying to force him into a little bit of a mistake. Not going to make the pass, just teasing him into it.
Davison from Melbourne, Australia, driving car number 11 for Sam Schmidt Motorsports, finished 22nd at the opener at Homestead Miami Speedway. But he may take a shot at Andrew here as they move down the straightaway into turn 1. Nope.
Yeah, you got to be, right where we just saw him cross the stripe of the start-finish line, you really got to be starting to make your move at that point. If we see a car length or 2 in between cars at the start-finish line, it's going to be a very risky pass if they try and pull it out after that.
Now, Davison was involved in a qualifying incident with Dylan Battistini, who won last week at Homestead Miami. Davison was allowed to maintain his 7th starting position, but Battistini was penalized 3 positions and started back in 15th. And we'll take a look at that incident. This again was during qualifying, and
that's Battistini in the black car, and basically what happened there, obviously he got into the wall, but as James was coming up behind him, tapped him from behind, spun him, but I think what they said is Dylan slowed up, therefore there was a contact. And what they've done with the rules now is if you bring out a full course yellow in qualifying, you get penalized because that takes away time from the rest of the competitors. So they're going to dock you if you bring out that full course yellow, and that's what happened.
Battistini is currently running in 11th position. Watching James Davison and Andrew Prendeville running in the 6th and 7th spots here as 11 of 40 laps have been completed. And there is the leader, Matos. Anna Beatrice continuing to hang on to second spot. Antonucci back there in third.
Teammates right here, when we look at Anna Beatrice, everybody calls her Bia. In talking to her crew guys, they say Bia's going to win a race this year. They've been very impressed with all her feedback in the race car, what she's done, what her focus is. But looking at Anna being chased there by Antonucci, both driving for Sam Schmidt. A little bit of pressure for Antonucci. He's in the 7 car that Alex Lloyd drove here last year, the champion. And Alex won both those races. So that's a little extra pressure that he gets, I'm sure, from the boys over at Sam Schmidt Racing.
Anna Beatrice is from Sao Paulo, Brazil, and last year competed for Team Brazil in the A1GP, making her way into the Firestone Indy Light Series for 2008 and doing so very impressively. She has about a car length and a half advantage on Richard Antonucci, who's running in third spot in that number 7 car. And Anna is about 2.3 seconds behind the leader, Rafael Matos, on board with Antonucci as he chases Anna.
And this is going into turn 4. Ooh, we saw a little bit of brake lock up there. You know, now what Richard has to be saying to himself, hey, maybe I broke her concentration. The fact she's locking up the brakes a little bit, maybe I am pushing her. So the closer he can stay and fill her mirrors, the better chance he can force her into a little bit of a mistake. For example, we're coming into another good passing zone. So right now, if she can miss, if Anna misses her brake point by a little bit, that may create a little bit of a window for Richard to sneak by and get along inside. But anytime you race on a street circuit, it's hard to pass. It's always hard to pass.
And a full course caution once again. It's a local right now, not a full course, but it's for Bobby Wilson once again. And things just have not gone well for the Florida resident. The leader is Rafael Matos. Back in a moment. 25 laps completed here at St. Petersburg, of 40 that make up this first of 2 races for the Firestone Indy Light Series at St. Petersburg, Florida. The leader is Rafael Matos. He's led all the way. Richard Antonucci has taken back his second position from Anna Beatrice, who is third. Then J.R. Hildebrand and Jeff Simmons running in the top 5.
And then we're looking at Rafa, just went by a lap car there. That was freak. He had a little incident later, got into the back wall, so he's down a lap. But now that we finally settled into a little bit of rhythm here, we see Antonucci just back there in the red and white car. He's in second spot. The 2 of these guys have broken away from third. There's Richard right there. They've broken away from the third place car of Bia right now. And that doesn't surprise me because these 2 guys were 7/10 clear of that third place car in qualifying. So definitely this is where the speed was, and these 2 cars are watching. Now, can Antonucci get close enough to put any pressure on Matos? Doesn't look like it right now.
The separation is 2.2 seconds from first to second, and then from second to third position is about 5 seconds. So there is Antonucci as he sets up for turn number 14. Again, got that lap car ahead of him. Meanwhile, Matos just continues to drive away. Matos won twice here in the streets of St. Petersburg in '06 as we see Antonucci go to the inside of that lap car and put it a lap down. Here's the third place car of Anna Beatrice. Right behind her is J.R. Hildebrand, and then the number 2 of Jeff Simmons, who's running 5th.
We saw Hildebrand's car as he's putting the power down, just stepped out a little bit. So, you know, as the race goes on, these tires wear down. They have less and less grip. And if Jeff Simmons in that yellow and white car can keep pressure on JR, there may be a window where he can get his nose on him on the inside, outbrake him, take that position away.
After the races here in the streets of St. Petersburg, our next venue is back to a super speedway. That would be Kansas Speedway. Firestone Indy Lights return to that circuit, and you can see the race on May 1st at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. All right. Attention right now, however, focused on the streets of St. Petersburg, and Rafael Matos, or Rafa as he is called, has dominated big time so far in this race with just about 2 laps to go, less than 2 laps to go. He has led all the way and has a 3.1 second advantage over Richard Antonucci.
And he has not put a wheel wrong. Just, you know, everything he's doing out there looks smooth. You never see the car step out. He's just squeezing on the throttle. The car looks stable under braking, and he hasn't put it, you know, he hasn't missed a mark out on the track at all.
When he won here in 2006, both races, he led 68 of the 80 laps. And if he continues to finish the race in first position, and there's no reason why he shouldn't unless he has serious trouble here on the final lap, he will have led 108 of 120 laps here in St. Petersburg. Very impressive performance.
And the first time that he ever got into one of these cars was prior to dominating here when he won his first race. You know, he'd only been in the car for a half a day of testing, showed up here, dominated, won both events.
He, of course, is the Champ Car Atlantic champion from last year, but made the decision to come to the Firestone Indy Light Series, and it was a very wise decision. That 54 car of Mickey Gilbert is running in 16th, so 16 cars are going to finish on the lead lap, make that 15 as he goes to the inside and takes the checkered flag to win the first race here at St. Petersburg. Rafael Matos in an outstanding performance leads all 40 laps as Alex Lloyd did last year. But now remember, the number of cars inverted will be determined in victory lane. Just a few moments from now, he will draw a pill to determine the inversion positions for race number 2. Down to Mike King.
So Rafa Matos, who has started on pole in the first 2 Firestone Indy Lights events of 2008, wins this one, going away from pole. Rafa, you have now led 90% of 3 races that you have run here. You are 3 for 3 on the streets of St. Pete. You must like this place.
Yeah, I love this place. It's a great atmosphere. Everything is working perfect with the AFS Andretti team, and you know, I just can't thank enough those guys. Thank Mike Andretti, King Grimm, Kevin Saver, you know, Gary Peterson. Thank our sponsors, AFS, also Fresh, everyone that has been supporting us this year. Just a great feeling. First victory of the year for us. Hopefully we can repeat tomorrow again.
You led all 40 laps. Let's find out where you're going to start, because we're going to have to do the draw. Roger Bailey is the executive director of the Firestone Indy Light Series. Here is the draw. So Rafa will either draw a 0, a 2, a 4, a 6, or an 8. That's going to tell us how many drivers will be inverted. 4. Is that right? Oh. 4. That's the number that is drawn. So Rafa Matos will go off 4th in race number 2 here at St. Petersburg. Bob?
That means that Jeff Simmons will start on the pole, and we'll concede if Matos will be able to roll through the field and win the second race. Stay with us. That second race from St. Petersburg coming up in just a moment. We welcome you back to St. Pete. Bob Jenkins, Robbie Buell, and Mike King getting set for the second race here in the streets. And as we show you the starting grid up at the top of your screen with the first 4 from the first race inverted, Robbie, what are the keys to this race?
Well, the keys for race 2, what did you learn in race 1? Race 1 adjustments. What are you going to apply from race 1 for race 2 that's going to allow you to improve your position? A lot of guys may add more downforce, take downforce off the car so they're faster in a straight line. From there, racecraft. How do you fill the mirrors of the guy in front of you to force him into a mistake to create an opportunity for yourself? From there, restarts. It always bunches everybody up, presents opportunity to pass.
Pace car makes the hard right into the pit area, and the cars come off of corner number 14, getting set for the start. And here we go from race number 2. Oh, and a car looks like is couple of cars up at the top of your screen had problems getting off the corner, and already we have a problem.
And they are 3 abreast fighting for second place there. And Rafa, he got through that cleanly, was on the high side of the racetrack, is now in second spot chasing Jeff Simmons.
On board with Richard Antonucci. That's Jeff Simmons leading the race. The 27 car is Rafael Matos in seconds. Oh my goodness,
Wow.
Look at this.
We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7
Seven
cars.
cars.
That's in turn 4, a second gear corner, right? They've come down the straightaway, so obviously there's some passing that tried to take place and bottlenecked everybody.
The 24 is Chris Festa. The 11 is James Davison. 21 car is Al Unser, the third. And there's another car. That's the 8 of Nathan Freak. Here at St. Petersburg, the field under caution because of a couple of problems that occurred on the first lap. First of all, as the cars were coming down for the green flag, a couple of cars in the rear of the field got into problems.
Just a little in-sync dance, and they hadn't even gotten to the green flag yet. And that's just a function of trying to put the power down and having cold tires.
That was Brent Sherman and Mickey Gilbert with problems up there coming off the final corner before the green flag. Look at this race into turn 1.
And look at the battle here. We're on board with Antonucci, and that's Anna right on the outside. There's the leader, Simmons. Now watch these guys, 3 abreast all the way through. That's Rafa on the far left side of the screen in the red and yellow car. Look at this, trying to sneak through turn 2. A little tap. The guy who gets the worst of that is our onboard camera guy, Antonucci, right there, and lost a couple spots.
He dropped back to 6th position. Now here's the big crash involving several cars.
Exactly, and look at that. That's Polar was trying to sneak down the inside in the red and black car 3. He goes away, and that collects Ari, Pecorari, Davidson. I mean, just goes on.
Mike King is down with Ari Lyondike Jr.
Ari Lyondike Jr. started the day here at St. Petersburg 4th in the championship points. Ari didn't get an opportunity to complete the first lap.
I know, it's a little ridiculous. The first lap, everyone's fighting hard, I know that, but I gave the person plenty of room. I don't know who it was. It's just a shame because we had such a good starting spot for the race, and I think I could have moved up. And this weekend's been getting better and better for me, and it's just a shame we couldn't even get through the second, half of the first lap. So.
That's Ari Lyondike Jr. Certainly disgusted with the way his first lap turned out here in race number 2 at St. Petersburg. Bob?
Thank you, Mike. Well, let's see if we can get some green flag racing in here as Jeff Simmons comes off of the final corner, heads for the green flag, and a restart to this second race. Simmons, Matos, Beatrice, Hildebrand, Prendeville, and Antonucci.
And look at that. Bia's looking down the inside of Rafa, and she has that done cleanly. That's picture perfect. Ooh, look at Antonucci on board there. He's sideways a little bit, trying to put the power down. He's lost touch a little bit with the cars in front of him and being chased by Prendeville, I think, back there. Or actually, that may be Hildebrand. No, there's Hildebrand. So that's Prendeville that's pressuring Antonucci right there. In the red and white car, Antonucci, Prendeville all over him.
And Rafael Matos up in the 3rd position. Lost that spot to Beatrice. She has been very aggressive in this race and in the first race, but aggressive not necessarily meaning dangerous. She's pulled off some very smooth and bold moves.
Everything that we've seen her do to improve her positions with the pass she made in race 1, in this race, it was calculated. It was clean. There was no risk in it. I mean, that's, as a team owner, that's the kind of race driver you're looking for, to have that characteristic of calculating risk and return.
Jeff Simmons has won 7 times in the Firestone Indy Light Series, looking for victory number 8 here this afternoon. His margin of being in number 1 is just about a half second over Beatrice. Matos is less than a second back in 3rd, and a car spins coming down the straightaway. That's the 24, Chris Festa.
Yeah, not sure what happened there. I don't know if there was some contact.
And Juan Manuel Polar is also in a bit of a trouble spot.
Yeah. Sometimes when you see the big paint strips there on this straightaway, sometimes when you're under braking and you get on those paint strips, it's a little bit slicker. Exactly. And you lock the tires up, and that can create a spin. I'm not sure if there was contact here. We will take a look at it and find out.
Let's take a look at what happened to the 24 car. Now, Polar's up at the top of your screen. That was his problem.
So that was all what happened to Chris there. That was all by himself. He just had a little bit of rear lockup. The car's bumpy. He was on the paint section of that. I'm not sure that caused it, but just when the rear of the car locks up, the rear brakes lock up, it can spin you around. Unfortunately, let's bring out a full course yellow. Bunch everybody back up.
Chris Festa remains sideways entering turn number 1. Chris driving for Alliance Motorsports this year, which is a new team that is co-owned by Tice Carlson, a former competitor in the IndyCar series. Jeff Simmons still leads here as the field once again is at reduced speed. Well, earlier this week, Sam Schmidt enjoyed a very special opportunity at the Florida Aquarium in Tampa. Sam spent about 30 minutes diving in the 500,000-gallon coral reef tank at the aquarium. Sam shared the water with over 2,300 aquatic animals and came away with a great experience, but more than that, a big smile. Sam is dried off. He's down in pit lane with Mike King.
Yeah, Sam Schmidt saw his cars finish 2nd and 3rd here yesterday at St. Petersburg. Sam, let's talk a little bit about you taking a dip here at the Florida Aquarium. How was it?
Got to tell you, the guys at the Florida Aquarium are awesome for providing the program. It's open to the public. Doesn't matter if you're able-bodied or disabled. But first time I've been back in scuba gear since I've been paralyzed, and about the only way to describe it is that it's about as normal as I've ever felt. You know, it was great being down there with the fish, and just a fantastic experience.
I heard you tell somebody, Sam, that at least for a few minutes you forgot you were paralyzed.
Pretty much. It's a feeling of weightlessness, and I had been certified as a diver before I got hurt, and so it just brought back a lot of great memories, and you feel just almost normal.
Your drivers on track right now, Anna and Antonucci, out there running in 2nd and 5th respectively. Boy, what a textbook pass Beatriz Abia put on Rafael Matos on that first restart.
She's definitely lived up to all of our expectations and then some. Unfortunately, James got caught in that first lap melee, but I think that both Anna and Richard have a good shot at this race, and they got a long ways to go, so see what happens here.
It's championship team owner Sam Schmidt looking for another win here today at St. Pete.
Getting set for a restart once again as Jeff Simmons in the yellow and white number 2 brings him down. Green flag is flying. Let's see if Matos might make a move from his 3rd position. No, he's not even in a position to make a move.
He's going to get challenged, and he sure is. Look at that. J.R. Hildebrand goes along the inside, gets the pass done. Antonucci's carrying the momentum. No, can't do it. That's Rafa right in front of Antonucci right there in the red and white car.
So put J.R. Hildebrand in car number 25 up in 3rd position. Antonucci looks to the inside, cannot make the move. Andrew Prindeville in car number 5 is right behind Antonucci.
Yeah, it just makes me think the restarts, Rafa has not had a very good car. So, you know, what adjustments did he make from race 1 to race 2? Well, if there were some adjustments, they weren't in the right direction.
As we see the field come through here, we're going to talk about a couple of people who have made nice moves. Dylan Battistini, who won at Homestead Miami, started 21st, is now running 7th. And Bobby Wilson, who had all kinds of problems in race number 1, started 22nd and is up into 9th position. Logan Gomez also picking up 12 spots. Cunningham up 9, and Sean Guthrie has increased his positions by 7. Jeff Simmons crosses the line. The interval is 0.8 of a second back to Anna Beatriz. Hildebrand is 1.4 seconds behind, and now Matos once again tries to find an opportunity to pass J.R. Hildebrand.
Yeah, all I can think of, you know, with Matos falling back on those restarts is his gear package on the restart isn't accommodating this slow pace being set by Jeff Simmons. Yesterday on the restarts in race 1, he had a very fast restart and could pace everybody, Matos can. So maybe his gear stack isn't accommodating the slow start that Simmons is setting on those restarts.
Matos won both races here at St. Petersburg in 2006. Led all 40 laps in taking the checkered flag in the first race here at St. Petersburg. But different track conditions. For one thing, it rained heavily overnight, Robbie, and that makes for a green racetrack. And by saying that, what does it mean?
Well, a green racetrack, there's not as much rubber down, so the car doesn't handle the same. There's less grip, and just those little subtleties of car grip. Oh, look at that dive on the inside by Rafa. Woohoo!
That was very impressive.
That was aggressive.
And Antonucci also took the spot away from Hildebrand.
You know, I'm not sure any of us saw that coming.
Just all of a sudden, he shot to the inside and made a nice pass. So that puts Hildebrand back to fifth, and Hildebrand back to fifth, and Prindiville to sixth position.
And so now we're on board with Antonucci, and there's Raphael right in front of Antonucci. We saw that pass, and Antonucci snuck behind. We're going up the back straightaway here, all the way up to fifth gear. You have a fast left-hand kink. Now we come to a good braking zone, down to second gear. Kind of hold steady with Rafa as you get through here. Hard on the gas, up to fourth gear. A fast right, left, very, comfortable with the wheel. Hard braking, down to second. Now this is where you want to put the power down. Get the power, get flat onto the front straight. You saw a little cross up there as he's putting the power down with adjusting with the wheel across start-finish line.
Well, last lap, let's take a look at what happened from Antonucci's perspective.
Wow.
Look at that.
That was an aggressive pass. I mean, and good heads-up driving by J.R. Hildebrand. I mean, he saw that he was inside there, so he couldn't come down and had to give way. That's some fantastic driving on both sides.
So it's Simmons, Beatrice, Matos, and Antonucci, the top four. Back with more from St. Petersburg right after this. Under caution here at St. Petersburg once again as Jeff Simmons continues to lead the second race of the weekend for the Firestone Indy Light Series. We are under caution because of a incident involving two cars battling for sixth, Bobby Wilson and Andrew Prindiville.
And that's turn 8, slow corner, second gear. That was Bobby Wilson trying to look down the inside of Andrew Prindiville, and you're not going to get a pass done there when you're fighting for position. And that's the result of it. They're both done for the day.
Rafael Matos now running in second position, passing Anna Beatrice on lap number 20. And we anticipate possibly some activity here as the green flag comes out, because Matos has a very fast race car, but so far has just not been able to get past the very experienced Jeff Simmons.
A lot of racing left. I think he will. He's got a faster race car. Just use your head, Rafa. Don't force it to happen. You got plenty of opportunity. And Bia, they've kind of missed a little bit in her setup. We've heard her car starting to pick up a little bit of a push, so she's been struggling to hold that position.
That's Richard Antonucci running right behind Anna, or Bia, as she likes to be called. Green flag comes out. Look at Matos to the inside, but he bangs wheels with Jeff.
Look at that.
Oh,
and there's Bia that comes up alongside of Rafa.
And Bia has the lead.
Fantastic. We got to take a look at that again and see all that. But look at this. Antonucci down the inside as they come to turn 4. He's going to get that second spot.
No, hard braking.
No, yes, he is going to get it.
Wow. So Anna Beatrice takes the lead. Antonucci running second. Matos is third. And look at J.R. Hildebrand banging wheels. He moves up.
He gave a little love tap there to Rafa. Said, come on, keep moving. And as a result, it looks like Rafa's getting a little bit of momentum. Yeah, but he's got a flat left front. Flat left front. See it there?
Yep.
Too bad, Rafa.
Wow.
But, he was very aggressive on trying to create that opportunity going into turn 1 and banged wheels with Jeff Simmons. That's not sure that was the best move. We still had a lot of racing left.
Beatrice will lead this lap. Here's a look at the restart.
Okay, watch Rafa. He is right behind our leader, Jeff Simmons. He dives to the inside. Big move. Simmons says, no, you're not. They kind of touch. And there's the left front of Matos touching Simmons' car. I think that's probably what cut it. Now watch Bia. Watch Bia. She's going to run on the high side here. See you guys later. Antonucci and the Lucas car takes advantage of that, carries the momentum, and goes by. On board,
Richard Antonucci.
Here, work that throttle, work that throttle. Now Antonucci's going to go by Rafa right here. Look down the inside, going into turn 4. They still doesn't get the pass done side by side, but he says, come on. And there he's got it. That's hardball racing.
Rafa had to lock him up, and that was all that Antonucci needed. Now back here in third position is Hildebrand, and Logan Gomez has moved up to 4th. And Logan Gomez started at the rear of the field. Oh, the 33 of Mitch Cunningham has made serious contact with the wall.
Yeah, I saw that just in the back clip of something there. I was like, whoa. And now we saw what that is, so too bad for Mitch.
Changing the left front on Rafa's car. And And here's Cindy Alleman, who has spun coming off corner 14.
Come on, keep going back through that grass and get back out there.
And she will rejoin the field.
Wow, race 1 to race 2. We got a different animal here in front of us.
We do have another full course caution.
Yeah, and the main reason for this is we saw Mitch Cunningham that was up against the wall in the black and red machine driving for Brian Stewart, and they need to get that car out of there. And well, look where that is. I think that may have been coming through this next section of turns is where his car is.
Well, next up for the Firestone Indy Light Series, it's a return to where it all began. Kansas Speedway hosted the very first Indy Lights event. The series makes its return in just a few weeks. The Kansas 100 will air on ESPN2 May 1st at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Let's see how this restart goes as we go back to green. Beatrice is leading, Antonucci running second, Hildebrand third, and Logan Gomez from last starting position up to fourth, and Gomez looks to the inside. No change up front, however. Now Gomez gets to the inside of Hildebrand in the battle for third.
And the reason for that is just there was a little bit of brake. You just saw a little wiggle from JR's car, and that's just a little bit of rear brake bias shaking that loose.
Gomez has gained 19 positions since the start of the race. Dylan Battistini, the winner at Homestead, Miami, up 16 spots. Nathan Freak 11, Williams 10, and Guthrie has moved up 9 spots.
Yeah, good show by Logan. I mean, I know in race 1 he had a little bit of a gearbox issue, so obviously they've gotten that right, and he's taking advantage of everything that's happened here, and he's running fourth. Nice job.
Can Anna Beatrice hold off Richard Antonucci and win this thing? A very impressive race for Anna. Into corner number 14 once again.
Yeah, there's a good run. You got to be right on the tail of the car in front of you. Put the power down. Get to full throttle. Go up through the gearbox. Remember, these are teammates for Sam Schmidt, and you can't forget about the bigger picture. Yeah, you want to win this race, but you're also talking about a championship. Easy, not now. Oh my gosh.
Spins her.
Oh, there is Anna and
man, right into
Donoso.
Pablo Donoso.
Oh.
Donoso was running in 9th position, and unfortunately,
yeah, and it all started with Antonucci just coming down the inside, tapped her right rear, spun her around, and then she was anxious to get back out, but it wasn't a good time, and off went her right front.
So Richard Antonucci now is in the lead as we are less than 10 laps from the finish of this race. Here it is.
Breaking down into turn 1. Watch the left front. It was just his left front wing gets Anna's right rear, spins her around. Anna's off the track. Richard continues on. Here he is breaking down on the inside. Give him a little space. Oh, man. There goes Anna in the Healthy Choice car around. There's the touch right there. The left front wing plate gets into her right rear. His car goes airborne. I mean, he's, right on the curbing there. He goes airborne. Tough place to get it done.
And then into the side of Pablo Donoso.
And that's just, you want to get back in the action.
Yeah. Well, we'll be back in just a moment here at St. Petersburg. What a race. Well, this has been an action-filled race here at St. Petersburg. We're down to 1 lap to go, and Richard Antonucci, driving the number 7 car, which won twice here at St. Petersburg last year, is in the lead. J.R. Hildebrand running second, and a close third is Logan Gomez, again up from the last starting position, 23rd at the beginning of this race. Dylan Battistini, who won at Homestead, Miami, running in 4th position. So some guys have really moved up nicely during this course of this event.
Yeah, they've kept their nose clean through all the attrition and big incidents we've seen. These guys have slowly worked their way up. been smart about it, not been part of that attrition, and look where they are right now. I mean, Logan Gomez, what a great run, running in the third spot after starting in the back and having problems in race 1.
And Richard Antonucci, last time by, had a 1.3-second advantage on Hildebrand, so the margin is pretty comfortable here as Richard negotiates the final few corners. But this has been anything but a snoozer. It has been filled with action from start to finish, and here is Richard Antonucci taking the checkered flag and winning race number 2 at St. Petersburg.
You can't say much more. Just everything we saw in that, great for Richard. You know, the big focus is for him is for the championship, but wow, what a race. We had every scenario out there.
We really did. J.R. Hildebrand is 1.5 seconds behind at the checkered flag. Gomez is third, followed by Battistini and Guthrie. Then Allens are the third. Polar, Freak, Williams, and Alleman.
So for the third time of his Indy Lights career, Richard Antonucci will celebrate in victory lane. Richard, come on out so we can congratulate you. Richard Antonucci winning this one, and he will go to Kansas with a sizable championship lead. A bit of controversy as you and your teammate get together there on that next to last restart.
Yeah, I feel bad that I took my teammate out, you know, or we came together and she got the worst out of it. Let's say there was a racing incident. But we were quicker, and, you know, there were several people defending, and you just had to get your own out there. You saw Rafa, how aggressive he had to be, and things went badly there, and almost the same with us, and we were teammates, so it would have been terrible. I was really going for points, to be honest. 3 seconds in a row isn't what you want, ideally, but, you know, we came together, and I feel bad that she got a 0. You know, at least I would have liked her to have second.
Wins at Mid-Ohio and Finion, and now St. Petersburg. Congratulations to Richard Antonucci. Bob?
Unbelievable race here, number 2 at St. Petersburg, that Antonucci comes away with the victory. Don't forget, our next race will be the Kansas 100 on ESPN2, May the 1st at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Thanks for joining us here. For Robbie Buell, Mike King, I'm Bob Jenkins. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.